There. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. Recording Thursday, June 6th, 2019. This is 6:47 hours, 18:47 hours. Yes, I screwed with my sleep schedule again. So, today, first big thing is Tom's commission. It's done. It's done. It's finished. I'm not gonna. It's done. All right. So, last time I was talking about how I needed to have it like ready. I was talking on a Thursday. I need to have it like next Wednesday because that was like the 2-week deadline, so to speak. The soft deadline I gave for myself. Like, okay, 2 weeks from starting point, which was that Monday for that day. Today, well, it's been like what, 2 weeks since that recording. So, yeah. What happened was, I think I was just tired from work and from stuff because that week, my actual job was pretty. It was heavy. It was a heavy week. Like, I distinctly remember. Well, first off, it was heavy because I was actually training someone else. So it's like normally you're on your own and yeah, just doing your own thing, and you can just work at your own pace and whatever. When you're training someone else, you don't necessarily have to do that work. You just have them do the work. The problem is, you basically do have to redo their work, so to speak, because you gotta check to make sure that they did everything right. So you're not only are you redoing the same amount of work, you're redoing it at their pace, not yours. What you can do in like an hour takes them an hour and a half, and after they're finished, you're still checking it, and they have to like wait around or whatever while you finish checking it, and then you have to take time out of that. If they screw up, you have to take time out of that and like take like a 5-10 minute briefing of what they did wrong and show them how to do it right, and like kind of have a little exercise. It's time consuming. It's a bit more. It's draining as well, since you gotta have like the patience to actually like teach them the stuff that they need to know. I know this because it's not my first job where I have to train a dude, but also other coworkers in the space who have to also take time out of their duties to teach her the stuff. They don't have the same patience. Not everyone has the same patience, and it really shows in situations like these. Anyway, now that we're on the topic of work, I don't know how familiar people are with with my like actual job. I really don't want to talk much about it. All you need to know is it's kind of an office job, but it's at night, and sometimes people need my help, so it becomes a bit of a service job, but it's mostly office stuff, and I have 2 piles of paperwork that need to be done by the end of the night. Depending on the night, those piles can take like half an hour each to 2 whole hours each. And it also involves time management because I can't actually start work on these on the paperwork until the audit happens, and sometimes the audit can happen early, sometimes it has to happen late, and it's time management for these different scenarios. And the fact that I work at night is it's kind of important for what I do, since right now I should be asleep. As I mentioned, it's 6:53 p.m. My sleep schedule normally is from noon to 8 p.m. to actually get an 8-hour sleep. The problem is, I mean, sometimes I get home and I fall asleep early. I have like this stuff to do at home, chores, errands, project work, etc. So the intention's always to like get home, take a power nap, which is supposed to be like 20 to 40 minutes. This power nap lasted 6 hours. So thanks for that. Hopefully I'll be able to get some sleep after I finish this up. So that's the work. That's like my actual like job, like full-time 8-hour job. Just the gist of it. I don't want to get into specific. That's my job in a nutshell, and how it affects me. Because sometimes it can be like really tiring to. Most of the time, I have to fix other people's mistakes, or compensate for them, or let people know that a problem rose up and that needs to be taken care of. Sometimes I can take care of it myself. Most of the time, I can't because of I need authorization from an upper staff member who's not there at night. I need help from another department who's not there at night. I need contact to external offices, which, surprise, they don't really offer support at 3 a.m. So, more often than not, I'm just flagging registration forms. I'm just flagging invoices that have a specific problem that need to be taken care of. Therefore, I need to be very, very detail-oriented, very observant. I'm not gonna lie, some of these actually do fly over me. But generally speaking, I can confidently say that I'm pretty good at my job, I guess. That didn't sound very confident. Anyway, that aside, next order of business. Tom's fast deadline. So I was originally going to make this recording like right before handing it in. Maybe like as it still needs a couple of details worked on or whatever. Couldn't do it. So what happened was, last recording I said, okay, I gave him an estimate of 2 to 3 weeks. The 2-week line was like right around the corner from last recording, which was 2 weeks ago. Didn't make it, as you can tell. It was more work than I expected, and you see how it was more work than I expected, and I had more life stuff than I expected, and I was just more tired than I expected because of the work week being a bit heavier. And now this is what I took into account for the 3-week deadline. Okay, I can get this done in 2 weeks if everything goes smoothly. I'll probably get it done in 3 weeks if I have life stuff like in the way, like I'm too tired or I'm too busy. I did not take into consideration contingencies in the project itself, and unfortunately, yes, there was a contingency in the project itself. So I don't know if I mentioned it last time. I went over the sketch on one character, then I went over the sketch on the other character, and one just looked really, really good. Like it looked way better than the other, so I had to go and redo the sketch of the first character. The same thing happened with the line art. With the same character, I did the line art for the first character. Then I did line art for the second character, and I said, dang, I was using wrong brush settings. I didn't do the hair properly. There were like loose ends, and like the strands were like open and stuff. And so I had to go back. Like after I finished line art on the second character, I had to go back and redo the line art of the first character all over again. Basically lost like, I'd say 2 hours of work. Yeah, I think I've lost like at least an hour and a half of work. Like two sessions worth of work. I had to redo it because of I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, I have to be more consistent with my brush settings and with the way I connect the lines. So, I mean, it's the first art. I think this is the first piece of art that was requested by someone, and so I'm making it for that someone to be delivered at a certain time to that someone. Oh yeah, I was calling it a commission because I wanted it to feel like a commission. It just gives it this higher sense of formality to it. And it kind of ended up being sort of gift art. For now, it's a request. No, I think it would be considered gift art. Yeah. So, also, I think this is the piece that I took the most time to do. Now, there's several reasons why that would make sense. One, it's because, well, all this time I've been working on portraits, and this piece is basically 2 portraits in one piece. Something else that also was taken into consideration was just the formality of the work itself. Because other sketches other pieces, I would work on them while I was at my full-time job. I would take time that I have, like, free at my work, just pull out my phone and do some lines or do some coloring. I didn't do that this time. I wanted to work on this exclusively at home or at some sort of pseudo-prepared workstation. A thing I kind of taken a liking to do is like going out to work on this stuff. Now, contrary to like popular popular culture or customs or whatever. I found it, like I tried working on this stuff at a cafe, right? Just buy myself a cup of coffee, a donut, sit down, pull out my phone, just get some work done. I tried this with with other pieces, and I tried this with Lab Depot. And what I noticed was that it's good. It's a nice place to put your head. Just somewhere outside of this same desk that you use every day. But one day, I was running an errand. I don't know if I told this before on here. I was running an errand. I had to go make a payment, and on the way back, there was a McDonald's, and I was like, I've been doing pretty good for myself today. I think I deserve to have some junk food. So I went in, got a large order of fries, and a milkshake, just something to like, some salty, some sweet, something to munch on, some junk food. I wasn't actually like hungry. I didn't go in to get a full meal. And while I was eating the fries, I was like, it was just where my mind was running. This was back before the commission hit. The request hit. And so I was sitting down, just munching. And in my mind, Lab Depot was just running in my mind. At this point, I hadn't actually like gone through the feedback thoroughly enough, but I had like some sense of what people were saying. So I had these ideas running in my mind, like, how about we open up this, and we make the point extend over here, and maybe make the dirt pile like this and this and this. And I was like, wait a minute. No, but how would that work? Maybe we should like reduce this, and I was just keep on going. And then I went to my little suitcase, took out some sheets of paper, took out a pencil, and just started whacking at it, and just started like making like really simple like drafts to see like physically how the space would sort of look like and how it would feel and how they would interact. And I was out of nowhere. I was actually having like a work session. I actually had a work session for Lab Depot A4 concept design. That was one of the best design sessions I've had in quite a while. Like I felt like just more. I actually felt more creative in like having this table that was meant to sit 4 people in their burgers, all to myself, with just a milkshake and some fries and a crap load of sheets of paper and just a pen and a pencil, just sketching this out and seeing what could be done. And I was like, wow, I work better in a McDonald's than I do in a cafe. I'll take note of this. So now I've got this thing going on where I'm gonna go to various fast food places instead of cafes to get work done. And I got some work done on this gift art that I was working on. So yeah, there you go. Sorry to go off on a tangent like that, but another reason why this took so long is because it was the first like full, well, I wouldn't say full piece, but it was the fullest piece I've done. In the past, it was just like, it was a colored sketch and a flat color, and the lines weren't that polished. I just wanted to get something out there and stuff like that. But for this one, I did the sketch. I redid the sketch. I did the line art. I redid some line art. I did the coloring on both of them, and then I went through shading and detailing, and the process was just so much longer. And not to mention that there were two characters, there were 2 portraits that I had to like carry through this process at the same time. So that was an ordeal. So yeah, this is like the most complete piece I've worked on, like, ever. And I'm really, really glad that I got to do it. Like, actually set aside a pretty good amount of time to like hand this over to someone. Also, this is the first project that I've time tracked in full. Because other times you're like, oh, I'm just drawing in my free time. I'm just drawing in my spare time. It's not like I'm actually working towards anything. I'm just practicing. Here, it's a proper project that needs to be handed to someone. There was a soft deadline for it, and it was something that was asked of you by someone else. It's not something you particularly went out to do with something that was requested by someone else, and you need to give it to that someone else. So I just really enjoyed this experience because it took something that I already liked to do and made it into this responsibility, this compromise that would kind of sort of go along the lines of having what you like to do as a job. Because that's everyone's dream, having what you like to do as a job. That's the goal in life for a lot of people. And to actually get like a taste of this, and like taking the day off my actual job to just crunch on this, like chatting one side of some break or blasting on the other side, a whole pot of coffee to your right, and your canvas, dead center, right in front of you. But that day was one of my best days off I've had in a while, I think. So, I'm just really, really glad I was able to do this. And I'm also really glad that it's done. Because this was just a constant, it was just a constant thing in my head. It wasn't as bad as Lab Depot A3. But it was a thing that I was, like, mentioning to coworkers and, like, actually worrying about, and, like, oh no, like, there's this thing that I have to have it by this date, or I'm not working on this, or it's been a while since I've actually done anything on this, even though it's just been, like, 2 days. It felt like a while because it was just a thing that I had to get done. So, yeah. I actually had the idea of, like, adding more stuff to it, but once that day was over, I was like, we're done. Okay? We're done. This is it. We're not going to make any more, like, additional versions. We're not going to make any individual pieces. Like, this is the finished piece. This is the finished product. You can go ahead and sleep on it if you want. You can go ahead and put it away. Come back to it the next day, after a day of work, after a day of sleep, and just give it one last inspection. But that's it. Only if there's anything wrong with it, then you're going to fix it. You're not going to add anything else. That's just kind of something important that had to happen in my mind. Just the idea, just telling yourself, this right here is the finished product. You don't need to add anything else to it. Especially when you took this long to make it, when you told them you were only going to take maybe this long. So I was like, yeah, this is done. This is it. I think that's pretty important for, like, any actual work you're going to put out, and for someone, instead of just like, here's a thing I'm doing for myself, and you can take a look at it if you want. Alright. Something else. Remember the social media management I was going to do? Like, updating like, making the separate accounts and updating the links, the Tumblr page. I didn't do jack shit. So, what I did, I got rid of the hyperlinks on the Tumblr description. I just pulled out my phone and typed out a new thing. I said, I'm not going to put the links anymore. I'm just too lazy to do it. But it was getting really outdated, so that's why I'm doing it. Happy Pride Month, everybody. I still need to do the art accounts. I still need to remove the projects page. I need to update the about page. Something I've been working on today that I'm really glad I got to work on it was getting a new email account. Well, I didn't actually get a new email account. I was looking at different ways to, like, for my existing emails, a way to add an additional address. I couldn't find it on Google. I couldn't find it on Yahoo. So I went to Outlook. Now, you're going to already have a Microsoft account. I already had a Microsoft account because, well, of course I do. But I only ever used it to manage my Windows device, aka my laptop. So I didn't really use it for anything else. So I said, hey, I have an Outlook, don't I? Alright, first things first. The reason why I wanted to get a new email was, I have 2 emails. Well, I had 2 emails. One was the Google one, which is sort of like the main one to have all my separate accounts connected to. The Yahoo one was supposed to be the formal one, the one for work-related stuff, for sending CVs and receiving important information and updates and all this work-related stuff. Back then, it was like for school stuff to like actually connect formally to to give to government offices as well to receive official documentation and whatnot. To give to banks to receive to actually handle this sort of stuff. Problem is, I was dumb. Well, I am, but I was really dumb back then with email, and now it's just full of junk. it just fills with spam all the time. And what I had to do is, if I was doing something important, I would just have to swim through that to grab the important stuff and just get rid of all the garbage. Yes, it has a spam filter. No, it's not 100% effective. It's like 50% effective. And even then, it might actually eat up something important. So I've been intending to get a new email account for a while now. New email address for a while now. And what I found was like, like Outlook. Like, I have a Microsoft account. Let's see what email what it does with the email. So I went and tested it. Oh no, it's just gonna use my Gmail account for that. And if people respond to that email, it's not going to Outlook. It's going to Gmail. But a thing that Outlook has, and I'm surprised Google doesn't have, is that you can, from the same mailbox, set up what they call an alias. Now this is an alternative address to the main one, so that you don't have to actually give them your main one. This is an alternative address that people can send to, and you get it in this mailbox. So I went on and set it up. It's just typing in the address and clicking a couple buttons, and it's done. People send email to this account, and it will only appear in my Outlook. It won't appear on my Gmail like it did with the other test. And that's it. We're done. Like, I was actually prepared to like set up another Google account just to get another mailbox. And I was like, nah, but that's like a whole Google account. It's not like Gmail never is just Gmail. Gmail is like the whole slew of accounts that are constantly trying to monitor every single aspect of your life. So I wasn't gonna do that. And Yahoo is just the worst at being a company. So Microsoft, see what they can offer, and they delivered, and I'm glad. I've been listening to old, like the very first episodes of the Cortex podcast, one of my favorite podcasts, and they were just talking about what a nightmare email is as a thing nowadays. Like the trouble that's just maintaining it and setting it up and make sure that everything is accounted for and just all this sort of stuff. And I was like, oh, that's right. I need to sort my freaking email. So I went over and while listening to two people narrate their terrible experience with email, well, I had to deal with my email. It was not a very good idea. So I can't listen to this anymore. I just put away the podcast and just focused on the thing that I was supposed to do. Because actually doing the thing that I was supposed to do while listening to people suffer because of the very thing that I'm doing, it wasn't the best idea. So it's done. I got the account. I still need to like transfer over like my banking stuff and a bit of my work stuff. I already transferred some work stuff away from Yahoo. There's still one more thing I need to settle, and then again I need to carry over my banking and all that jazz. So yeah, that's done. Alright, so just to recap. Let's see, the workday. It sucks. Tommy's comm passed deadline. We made it. We finally made it. Took longer than I would want it to, but we made it. Media management and follow-up. I didn't do anything at all, basically. But we're gonna do it. Alright, I think that just about wraps things up. This one took 50 minutes, which is more or less what it last time took. I don't think this is gonna be really fun to listen to, but we'll just have to wait and see.